Please don't shave my hair. I'm innocent. I don't even know the man. Don't worry, my dear, the woman replied coldly. By the time we finish shaving your hair, you will be like the rest of us, the bald. Once upon a time, there was a village known as the Bald Village. At first glance, it looked ordinary. Mud houses stood in neat rows. Narrow footpaths connected homes to farms and streams. Children ran barefoot, laughing and chasing one another through the dust. Every evening, elders gathered beneath the ancient Aoko tree, sharing stories of long-forgotten days. But the village carried a strange secret. Every woman in the Bald Village was bald. From the moment a female child was born, no hair ever grew on her head. Not as a baby. Not as a girl. Not as a woman. Generation after generation, the women remained bald. No one questioned it anymore. Baldness was their identity. Baldness was their fate. Until fate broke its own rule. Her name was Zara. The day Zara was born, fear entered the village. The midwives screamed when they saw her. One nearly dropped the child. Tiny strands of thick black hair covered the baby's head, shining brightly beneath the lantern light. It was something none of them had ever seen. Before questions could be asked, tragedy struck. Zara's mother died moments after childbirth. Her body grew cold while the baby cried loudly beside her. Confusion filled the hut. Mourning followed quickly. Barely a month later, Zara's father fell ill. No herbs worked. No prayers helped. Day by day, his strength faded until death finally claimed him too. By the time Zara could recognize faces, she had already lost both parents. According to tradition, she was sent to live with her closest relative, her aunt, Mama Vio. Mama Vio accepted her, but not with love. She had a daughter of her own, Vero, bald like every other girl in the village. From the moment Zara entered the hut, Mama Vio felt a sharp pain in her heart. The child she took in had something her own daughter would never have. Hair. As Zara grew, her hair grew with her, long, thick, and shining. It flowed down her back like royal cloth. When she walked, people turned to look. When sunlight touched her head, it danced across her hair. The women of the village noticed. Some admired her openly. Zara, your hair is beautiful, they said. It looks like a blessing. Others admired her silently, smiling while sadness weighed heavy in their hearts. But some did not admire her at all. Mama Vio watched Zara every day. Each time she saw her combing her hair by the fire, bitterness stirred within her. Her own daughter often sat nearby, quiet, her smooth head reflecting the flames. Comparison filled that hut. And comparison slowly turned into hatred. Despite everything, Zara remained gentle. She fetched water from the stream. She helped with chores. She greeted elders with respect. She never spoke back. Even when Mama Vio treated her harshly, the villagers could not help but love her. Then came the day that changed everything. The oracle summoned the entire village to the sacred grove. Drums fell silent. Conversations stopped. The oracle stepped forward, leaning on her carved staff. Though her eyes were clouded with age, her voice was strong. The curse will end, she declared. The people gasped. The one who carries what was taken shall rise, the oracle continued. She shall become queen. She shall marry the prince of the kingdom. Through her purity, the curse shall be broken. Fear and excitement filled the air. Then the oracle spoke clearly. The girl with hair is the chosen one. All eyes turned to Zara. Her legs trembled. Her heart raced. And Mama Vio froze. The elders reminded the people of the ancient curse that had brought the village to this fate. Many years ago, a woman lost her husband, and instead of helping her in her grief, the villagers accused her of killing him. They dragged her to the village square, shaved her hair, beat her, humiliated her, and banished her from the village. As she left in tears, she turned back and cried, "You have taken my dignity, so I curse you today, generation after generation, your women shall be bald," and her words came to pass. Now Zara stood as the village's only hope, but hope can also become a threat. Every praise Zara received made Mama Vio angrier, and every mention of a future queen fed her jealousy. She knew one thing clearly: if Zara lost her purity, she would lose everything. That was when Mama Vio made her decision. One evening, Zara returned from the stream tired and thirsty, and Mama Vio handed her a drink with a sweet smile, urging her to rest. Zara drank, and soon her vision blurred, her body grew heavy, and darkness pulled her under. That night, Zara's destiny began to fall apart. She later woke to loud shouting, her head pounding, eyes burning, and body weak, as if all her strength had been drained, and fear slowly settled deep within her heart. She tried to sit up, but before she could understand what was happening, a sharp pain struck her shoulder, a stone. Another followed, hitting her leg. Zara screamed. She opened her eyes fully and realized she was surrounded by men, women, and children standing in a tight circle around her, shouting with voices filled with anger and disgust. "Abomination! Immoral girl! She has brought shame upon us." Fear flooded Zara's heart as she pushed herself up slightly. "What is happening?" she cried. "Why are you shouting at me?" No one answered. Another stone struck her back. Someone spat near her feet. Zara looked around wildly, confused and terrified. She remembered going to the stream earlier, returning home tired, and her aunt giving her a drink. After that, nothing. She looked down at herself. Her clothes were still on her body. She was not naked. She was not touching anyone. Yet the crowd roared as if she had committed a terrible crime. "I did nothing," Zara cried loudly. "I swear by my life, I have done nothing wrong." But the crowd refused to listen. "She was found with a man," someone shouted. "She is no longer pure," another screamed. Zara shook her head desperately. "I don't know any man," she cried. "I was alone. I only drank water and slept." Her words were swallowed by the noise. As the shouting continued, Mama Vio and her daughter Vero returned from the farm with baskets balanced on their heads. They froze when they saw the crowd gathered around their hut. Mama Vio dropped her basket and hurried forward. "What is happening here?" she demanded. The villagers answered quickly, their voices sharp with anger. They told her a man had been seen lying beside Zara. They said Zara was found unconscious. They said she had disgraced the village. They said the future queen had broken the sacred law of purity. Mama Vio did not ask questions. She did not look at Zara. She did not pause to think. She believed them at once. Slowly, Mama Vio shook her head, pretending to be shocked. Clicking her tongue, she sighed and said, "Ah. This is terrible." "Very terrible," Mama Vio said coldly. Zara crawled toward her, tears streaming down her face. "Auntie, please," she sobbed. "I did not do this. I drank the water you gave me and slept. I don't know anything else." Mama Vio pulled her wrapper tighter and stepped back. "If you are innocent," she asked sharply, "why was a man found beside you?" Zara shook her head violently. "I don't know him," she cried. "I swear I don't know him." Mama Vio turned to the crowd. "This is shameful," she announced. "If she has truly done this, then she has stained all of us." The villagers murmured in agreement. Mama Vio's eyes darkened. "There is only one punishment for such disgrace," she said. "Her hair must be shaved." The crowd erupted. "Yes. Shave her hair. Let her be like the rest of us." Zara froze. Her heart seemed to stop. She raised her trembling hands to her head. "No," she screamed. "Please don't shave my hair. I didn't do this. Please." Mama Vio did not hesitate. She stepped forward, grabbed Zara roughly by the arm and forced her to the ground. Another woman rushed to help. Zara struggled, screaming and crying, but they were stronger. "Auntie, please," Zara begged. "Have mercy on me." Mama Vio ignored her. She held Zara's head tightly while the other woman pulled out a sharp blade. Zara felt the cold metal touch her scalp. She screamed. She begged. Her voice cracked as tears poured down her face. "Please, I am innocent," she cried. "Please." They did not listen. Mama Vio pressed her down harder. The blade began to move. Strands of Zara's long hair fell to the ground. With every stroke, something inside her broke. Her heart shattered with each cut as thick clumps of hair dropped onto the dusty earth. The crowd watched. Some shouted in approval. Some turned away. Others stared silently, their faces empty and unreadable. When it was finally over, Zara's head was bare. Her scalp burned. Her body trembled uncontrollably. She collapsed onto the ground, sobbing. Mama Vio stood up slowly, breathing heavily. Inside her, satisfaction burned like warm fire. "It is done," she told herself. "Let us see how a bald girl will become queen." The crowd soon dispersed. By morning, the village had moved on. Zara was no longer greeted. No one praised her. Children pointed and whispered. Women avoided her path. Men looked at her with judgment. She stayed inside the hut. She stopped singing. She stopped smiling. She stopped dreaming. At night, she cried silently, holding her bald head and asking the ancestors why they had abandoned her. Days passed, then weeks, each one heavier than the last. Then something unexpected happened. One morning, Zara absent-mindedly touched her head and felt something strange, something rough. She touched again and froze. Tiny strands of hair. She gasped. The next day there were more, and within weeks her hair was clearly growing again. The village noticed. Whispers spread like wildfire. How is her hair growing? She was shaved for immorality. She should be bald forever. What Mama Vio did not know was an ancient truth, older than the curse itself. In the bald village, when a woman was falsely shaved for immorality, her hair would grow back within weeks. Only the truly guilty remained bald forever. Fear entered Mama Vio's heart. Sleep abandoned her. She avoided people's eyes, knowing the truth was closing in, and it did. The king soon heard everything. Guards arrived, and Mama Vio, her daughter, and the women involved were summoned to the palace. The king's anger shook the great hall. Then the man who had been paid to lie beside Zara was brought forward, and he confessed. Mama Vio fell to her knees as the truth was laid bare. Zara was declared innocent. Justice was served. As preparations began for Zara's marriage to the prince, Mama Vio and her daughter were ordered to work under the scorching sun, carrying water and firewood for the very wedding they had tried to destroy. Zara, dressed in royal cloth, stood radiant, her hair flowing once more. On the wedding day, drums filled the air. She stood beside the prince, calm and glowing, and walked gracefully toward the throne as the villagers watched in silence, awe and shame mingling in their eyes. When they knelt before the king, he blessed their union and declared Zara the rightful queen, the one destined to lift the curse. At that moment, something remarkable happened. Across the village, women began to feel tiny strands of hair sprouting on their heads. At first it was whispers, then gasps, and within hours the change was undeniable. The ancient curse of baldness, which had haunted them for generations, began to disappear. "Her hair, her innocence, it healed us all," someone whispered. And indeed, the prophecy was fulfilled. Zara, pure and unbroken, had broken the curse simply by being herself. Mama Vio and her daughter could only watch in disbelief, their rough, calloused hands trembling as they worked. Every smile Zara shared with the prince pierced Mama Vio with regret she could not escape. She had tried to destroy Zara, yet Zara had risen above everything. The celebration continued late into the night. Music, laughter, and joy filled the palace and spilled into the village. For the first time in decades, the bald village knew happiness. Mothers embraced their daughters, feeling soft hair beneath their hands. Girls ran through the streets laughing, tossing their hair, discovering a part of themselves long denied. Zara, now queen, did not celebrate alone. She looked upon her people with compassion, not anger. She held no hatred for those who had wronged her, only pity for hearts blinded by jealousy and fear. Justice had already reached them. Mama Vio learned her lesson too late, that truth and innocence cannot be destroyed by lies. Her daughter learned humility, understanding the cost of envy. Zara never sought revenge. She ruled with wisdom, kindness, and patience, and her story became a reminder that purity, once tested, shines even brighter. The prince was always by her side, helping her lead the village into a future filled with hope. Together, they taught the people that cruelty and jealousy destroy, but courage, innocence, and truth have the power to heal even the deepest wounds. With time, the story of Zara and her long hair became legend. Mothers told their daughters about the girl who was hated and betrayed, yet rose to save them all. Be like Zara, they would say, strong, pure, and brave. Even when the world turns against you, truth and goodness will always grow back, just like her hair. And so the bald village was transformed into a place where women could grow hair, where children played freely, and where jealousy and hatred survived only as lessons of the past. Zara's name lived on, not as a girl who suffered, but as a queen who healed a village, one who forgave when she could have hated, and who proved that innocence and truth are stronger than the darkest curses. Zara and the prince ruled for many years, guiding their people through peace and prosperity, and the villagers never forgot how one girl's courage and purity broke a curse that had lasted for generations. Mama Vio and her daughter learned the hardest lesson of all: envy destroys not only its target, but also the heart that carries it. One evening, Zara stood on the palace balcony, watching the sun set over the village. Her hair flowed freely in the wind, and her heart was full of peace. She had been hated, betrayed, and wronged, but she had triumphed. She had survived. She had saved her people, and she had become the queen she was always meant to be. For the first time in the village's long history, there was no curse left to fear. The village was free, and Zara, the girl once hated for her long hair, finally stood in her rightful place, shining brighter than anyone had ever imagined.